Hey there, true crime friend. So listen, I was just reading the news. And by the news, I mean Twitter. But I'm reading the news and I'm just like scrolling through what's going on. I don't know. I've been busy today. I've had errands to run or whatever. And it turns out that a grand jury has been impaneled to look at the case of Stephen Smith. You remember Stephen Smith from the Murdaugh case? Let me catch you up in case you are not aware. Actually, on the Murdaugh playlist, I have an entire video about Stephen Smith, but that was done like 2 years ago. And so here's the latest. Stephen Smith was reportedly the secret boyfriend of Buster Murdaugh. Now, was that the truth? I do not know. I love it. It's delicious gossip, though. And don't we just love gossip? So, Stephen died mysteriously in the middle of the road several years ago. And when he died, the Murdaugh name was like bantied about. And so when Alec Murdaugh got convicted last year, this year, whenever that was, I don't even know. Seems like 100 years ago now. But when Alex Murdaugh got convicted, everybody was saying, oh, Buster's next, because we know Buster killed Stephen. I never thought Buster killed Stephen. Did I think they used to be boyfriends or like have a hookup or whatever? Yeah, because that is delightful gossip. But murder? Seems unlikely to me. But because the Murdaugh name kept getting thrown in the middle of the Stephen Smith mess, I was like, oh, well, this is going to get an investigation and I'm going to look and follow every moment. But then, time went by, other crimes got committed. This Melly thing came up. A bunch of other true crime cases came up. And I forgot about Alex Murdaugh. And frankly, he was overexposed. Listen, that trial, I watched breathlessly. I was just like, tell me everything. I want to see. I want to know all about Mark Tinsley. I want to know all the characters. And now it's like, wait, that was at the beginning of the year. That was in January. It's 6 months later. I've slept since then. Child, I have put Alex Murdaugh out of my mind. I assume that he's tucked away safely in some South Carolina prison, minding his business, and I could be busy minding other people's business. So I knew that Stephen Smith's body got exhumed so that they could do a new, a new autopsy. But apparently down there in South Carolina, they think they know who did it. And there's like 5 or 6 people who are named in the investigation. Well, now I might be interested again because I'm like, oh, well, what happened to Stephen? Initially, the highway patrol was saying like, oh, we think it was a hit and run. Only there was no evidence of a hit and run. And wherever Alec Murdaugh goes, if he wants something hushed up and cleaned up, oh, it gets hushed and cleaned right away. So I was like, what he hiding? Why is he hiding? What's going on? I suspect that the death of Stephen Smith doesn't have anything to do with the family side of Alec Murdaugh, but more like the drug dealer side of Alec Murdaugh. Oh, yes, he was a drug dealer. He was running more whatever drugs they do down there. I imagine some opioid or whatever because he was an opioid enthusiast. So it makes sense to me that he would be associated with the opioid trade. And there's a street gang down there called the Cowboys. That seems like a silly name because I don't think they have cowboys in South Carolina, but what do I know about South Carolina? Anyway, there's a street gang down there called the Cowboys. And the Cowboys were saying, well, I mean, if you can take the word of drug dealers, but the Cowboys were saying that Alex Murdaugh was basically a drug lord. He was like Ozark, like that dude, like Jason Bateman, whatever his character's name was in Ozark. And the Alec was like this gentleman businessman, but he was running all kinds of drugs off the little private islands down there around South Carolina. Oh, Alex, you was up to things. And maybe that's where some of his money went. Alex spent all of that money, all of his money went missing. Maybe because he was doing drug dealing, and that's definitely a very lucrative business. But if you don't save wisely and spend wisely, just like with anything else, all your money can go away quickly, and all of his money went away quickly. So it would not surprise me to learn that Stephen Smith was associated with the drug dealing side. It's also been rumored that Stephen was associated with being a sex worker and all kinds of other things going on. So listen, who knows what young Stephen was up to? Stephen, was you getting up to things? Can you send us a sign? Make the lights flicker if I'm on the right track. Nothing. I'm also not a psychic. So there's that. You know who we need. Y'all know who we need. Serafina Donna Serafina. She is our favorite psychic. She should be on every case. She should just like swoop in and be like, girl, let me tell you what happened. Oh, speaking of psychics, what's in my tube? I hate it when things are in my teeth. Speaking of psychics, listen, I read that in the news, of course, on Twitter, that Tori and Dean, Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott, they're getting a divorce. And what does that relate to psychics, you say? Well, I'm going to let you know, because there is 6 degrees of separation among everything. Everything. So, about 15 years ago, I was looking for a life coach, right? Because I was like, I'm coming out of being a stay-at-home mom. I'm going back into the workaday world. Like, what do I want to do with myself? I don't know. And so I got this life coach, and he was really good. And he helped me like focus, narrow in on what I wanted to do and whatever. Turns out what I really needed was a career coach, but I didn't know that at the time. So I was working with this life coach, and my life coach was none other than Randy Spelling, Tori's brother. So Tori's brother, who is a very lovely young man. Oh, Randy, delightful. Not crazy like Tori at all. But Randy, at that time, got married to Leah. She used to be Leah Stutz. Now she's Leah Spelling. And guess what Leah does? She's a psychic. Like, professionally, that's her job. She's a psychic. And I had several readings with her years ago, and it was amazing the things that she knew. And I was like, wait, how do you know these things? And so we got to be like pals. And ultimately, after she got married, because listen, some people don't believe in psychics, and I totally get that. But that chick married a very successful businessman. Now, he is not in the public eye, but you think Randy Spelling is not making money? Honey, you would be wrong, because Randy Spelling, he got the bag. Now, when their father died, listen, look at me telling other people's business, but that's what you're here for. When Aaron Spelling, their super mega TV producer father, when he died, he only left each one of them $800,000. Tori got $800,000 and Randy got $800,000. Also, like most rich people, they didn't teach their kids anything about money, because when you're a rich kid, you just show up and everything is paid for and you don't have to worry about it. And so then your father dies and you're like, oh, well, obviously I'm getting $1 gazillion. Is that in $1 gazillion bill, or are you going to give it to me in like 10s and 20s, whatever? So they got this little bit of money because they were like, 800,000 is enough. That's what their father said. But then he died and it kind of wasn't. And so then Randy and Tori had to make their own way in the world. Randy did quite well for himself. Tori, not so much. Randy and Leah met, I don't even know where, but they were dating. Very cute couple, very sweet people. And she hung out a little shingle as a psychic, and he hung out a little shingle as a life coach. And they sometimes got together on projects. And then she was like, my angels are telling me we should move to Portland. And he was like, I'm moving to Portland. I was like, why are you leaving LA? But he was like, okay. Leah says we need to move to Portland. And I was like, okay, I guess y'all going to Portland. So they moved to Portland, got a big, beautiful house, had 2 lovely babies. They have 2 sweet, sweet little girls. Look at me telling their business. They not in the public, but clearly my mouth is. Anyway, they moved to Portland. They have 2 beautiful little girls. They have some chickens and whatever, living up there, little vegetarian lifestyle, growing their own food and everything. Lovely people. Anyway, but Leah, she quit psychicking. I mean, I imagine that she is still psychic, but she no longer does it for a living because he's making bank and she can sit and be with her kids. Good for you. She should have directed me into who I should marry. Although I was already married to my husband. Was I married to him? Yeah, I was already married to him when I met her. But she gave me marital advice. It turned out to be really good. Who knew? And I was like, girl, you a newlywed. I've been with this man for a long time. What you know? And then she said some things and I was like, oh, this psychic thing, there might be something to it. Listen, I'm telling too much of my business, too much of her business, too much of everybody else's business. Come on now. That's what you're here for. This is what we do. We get together in the mornings, we have a little cup of coffee, and we talk about other people, not behind their back, because that would be rude. Also, talking mean to people's faces, that's rude too. So we just engage in conversation and exchange ideas. That's what this is. This is a free flow and exchange of ideas. Just you and me and other people's business. Okay, look. There's things I need to get done today. It's actually, I still have to clean these floors. I have to pack some bags. That kitchen is a sin and a shame. Somebody need to show up here and clean my kitchen. Oh, I wish there were elves. Listen, forget about psychics. Can the psychics introduce me to elves? How is that related? Do garden gnomes know elves? I forget who knows who, but somebody need to get in there and clean that kitchen. And it looks like it's probably going to have to be me. Okay, y'all have a great day. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.